Why, hello there. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's been more than 2 weeks. I miss you. What's up, Losh? What's up, Wing Chun? Look, in the chat, what's going on? You get a number one sticker kind of thing when you're first, I guess. Looks like you get 50 XP. We got XP now? Wait, do I get any XP for being the streamer? Or do I get nothing? That's not fair. Hmm. How y'all doing? So it has been a while. I've been on vacation. I've been traveling in the lands of Canada. It was pretty good. I was on a road trip. You know, the Canadian outdoors, pretty good. It looks pretty nice. Nice lakes and nice forests. It's not bad. I went on a ferry, a couple of ferries. Ferries are pretty cool. Okay, they're huge. Oh wait, so I went on a road trip from Calgary to Vancouver. Yeah, went on a couple of ferries in Vancouver. Ferries are huge. They look all right. Okay, they don't look that big from the outside. Okay, when you see it traveling to the port, yeah, they don't look that big. And then, but when they arrive at port, and then you see the cars going in, right? So before the freaking ferry, so you park in the parking lot, and you see like a bunch of cars, and I was like, "There's no way all these cars are gonna go in that little ferry. There's no way, right?" So, yeah, but then you see the cars going in and in and in and in. And then you're like, how does this ferry fit all of these cars? There must have been like 100 cars. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm exaggerating. It seemed like a lot of cars, and they're all and they can just all fit in this little ferry. They're delightful. And once you get in, you can get out of your car and go up to the upper decks, get some food, sit somewhere, or you go up to the top deck to watch the waters and stuff. It was awesome. Wait, so Losh gets a crown for every message? Is she just a queen now? Someone take her down. What's going on? I need to log in on my other account and be the first. Too late. For the next few streams I'm gonna log into my alt account. I'll be number one. Wait, Psyduck gets number two. Wait. What's going on? Oh, I can see your XP. Hold on. So Losh has 75 XP now. How do you get XP? Then Psyduck gets 50 XP. And Wing Chun gets nothing. Can I spam? Okay. What if I type stuff? Hello, chat. Do I get XP too? Hold on, let me see. Oh, I don't get shit. This is unfair. All right. Well, anyways, it's a decent sized chapter today. I'm gonna get started. Hold on. Doo-doo-doo. All right. Do it super quick today. Ooh. Oh. Hold on. Can we get on the third try? Stint. A stint, I think. Oh, okay. Stilt. Stilt? Sticked. Stilb? Still? Stiv? Sticked? It must be stilt. Oh, okay. Connections. I think some people still think you're on vacation. Well, too bad. Too bad for them. What's going on here? Oh, wait. Psyduck is number one now. Oh, you're both number one. Oof. Knocked it down to number two. All right, hold on. Connections. Dog, dribble, secret, footprint. Rat, shoot, leak, splash. Banana, source, canary, block. Mark, pass, hat, impact. Canary in the coal mines. Canary leak, like a gas leak. Source, impact. You can dribble, you can shoot, you can block, you can pass basketball. Okay. Banana, canary. Banana is yellow. Canary is also yellow. A hat can be yellow. Splash, secret, impact, source. No. You can mark your territory. You can leave a mark. You can leave a footprint. You can leave an impact. You can leave a banana. Leave a secret. Leave a leak. Leave a dog. I guess you can leave a dog. It's not very nice. You can leave a canary. Leave a secret. You can have a secret. Oof, one away. Leave a leak. Have a splash. Leave a source. Leave a banana. No! Wait, you can have a mark. You can leave a footprint, leave an impact. You can leave a source. You can leave a splash. You can leave a rat. You can leave a banana. Leave a source. You can leak a source. Leave a dog. What? You can have an impact. Have a footprint. Mark. You can leave a source. You can leave a hat, I guess. But you can leave a dog too. No. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Let's see what else we got. Splash. You can make a splash. Oh, you can make an impact. You can make a mark. You can make a footprint. Leave a splash. Oh, leave a splash, I think. Leave a splash. I hope it's right. I don't want to waste 3 guesses on this. Okay. I have a big impression. Okay. Banana, source, canary. I don't think it's yellow. Secret. Leak. You can leak a secret. Have a source. A rat can leak. A rat can leak a secret. A rat can leak a secret. Your source can be a rat with a hat. Leak. Your source can have a secret. And leak. Rat source secret leak. Oh, I don't know. Then what is canary, banana, dog, and hat? Oof. Rat. Rat. Hat. A source. A source can be a secret. Source can have a secret. I'm feeling it's these four, but I don't know what banana, canary, and hat and dog have to do with each other. Banana is yellow. Canary is yellow. A dog. Can a dog be yellow? A hat can be yellow. It doesn't make any sense. Banana. Let's see. Banana is disgusting. Canary are cute. Canary warns of something. Canary can warn of a gas leak. So maybe a canary leak, a source. Okay. I'll just go with. Come on, fuck. Okay, one away. Rat source secret. Canary in the coal mines. Rat source secret leak. Source. Canary. Source. Canary. That'll be banana, source, dog, and hat. Cat and hat. Dog. I'll do it. No! Why? Oh. Canary also means informant? I did not know that. I'm sorry. Top banana? Who says that? Top secret? This is such a stupid. What is a top banana? Top banana. The most important person in an organization. Oh, really? I've never heard about that. Where did I go and what culture did I offend? I went to Canada. What's up, Rude Noise? Yeah, Canada was fun. Saw a lot of nature. Wait, how come Wing Chun doesn't have a XP? I don't get it. What's going on? So Rude Noise is number 3. Did I offend some Canadians? I'm sure I did. Sure I did without knowing. I'm sure I don't know all of the Canadian etiquette. Yeah. Maybe I said A at some point, and then someone got offended. I offended them with my terrible French. Way. True. Yeah. Yeah, I went to this ghost town. I think that was pretty cool. Yeah, when I looked it up online, they said like it was like a ghost town. It was a town that was abandoned in like 1902 or something. Yeah, and they let you walk in, and it's like this little town, this little village. You can see um things are preserved. So you can see they have like a bank, a jail, an apothecary, and you can go in. um, yeah, and I got there, so it closed um at dusk. The closing time is at dusk, so it's at sunset, and I went there like an hour beforehand, so it was kind of dark. And then um as we went around the ghost town and looked around, it got darker and darker as in night went on. So it was pretty cool. Kind of a cool vibe. Were there any ghosts? Maybe. If there were, I didn't see any. But maybe they were hanging around. Yeah, there was like a little church. You can look inside. The church was like kind of spooky. Just like an empty church. There was some pews and the altar. Oh. Yeah, and they also had like little mannequins in the back. So I remember the drugstore had, yeah, a little mannequin dude, like a little mannequin girl. So that scares you. Maybe you want to visit that place. Yeah, walked around. And then we met a guard. So yeah, there was like basically nobody there. Okay, so it was a really cool vibe, cool ghost town. If you like that kind of paranormal stuff. Um, yeah, we found a guard and he was walking his dog around. Yeah, and I got to play with the dog. It was pretty cool. I talked to the guard and got a little more backstory on this ghost town. Okay, so apparently the marketing material was not accurate. So they said that it was a ghost town that was abandoned in the 1900s. Not true. Not true. There might have been a little place there, but it wasn't. So apparently, what happened was that there was a guy who liked to collect stuff, like a collector dude. Basically a huge hoarder, right? So he's over the years he had collected a bunch of just old items, like old mining equipment and all kinds of stuff. A little Coca-Cola box. Yeah. So over time he collected a bunch of stuff, and then he graduated to collecting buildings. So they actually transferred these like old buildings from other places to this little town, and he made it a little ghost town. So a lot of the buildings were from other places. What's up, Malik? How's it going? Yeah, yeah. So it wasn't like a actual town that was abandoned. There was a bunch of buildings collected together. But it was pretty cool. Yeah, and apparently the guy wasn't even a millionaire or anything. He was um he just liked collecting things, and he took out loans from the bank to collect things. And I think he died in debt. And right now his kids are running the place. So they sell tickets for you to go into this place. Yeah. Guess he's trying to pay off dad's debt. What's up, Malik? What? Malik gets to be number 2. I don't know how this works. You guys all have rankings, but then they just keep shifting and changing. I have no idea. And I get no XP. What the fuck? What number are you now? Oh, you're number 4, Losh. But I see everyone has 75 XP. So I don't know. Yeah, Wing Chun gets nothing. Or maybe it updates very slowly. But that doesn't make sense. Why doesn't Wing Chun get anything? Wing Chun is a ghost? I see. Maybe he lives in that ghost town. So that was cool. Oh, I also went through this place in the ghost town where they had a bunch of trains, like empty train cars from back in the old days. Those are really cool. You can walk in the trains and you see how the trains were back in the day. So how people traveled. They had like little rooms with beds, like little beds. Um, yeah, you walk through, and the hallways on these trains are like tiny. They're like just fits your body, and it was pretty cool because there was one train that was decorated with Halloween stuff. So they had like witches and vampires and stuff like that. Yeah, and they were all working. I walked through the entrance and they tried to do a jump scare on me. Um, yeah, and then you can walk through this little train, and it's cramped, so it's a pretty cool vibe. It's pretty scary. And on the sides of these rooms, they had like stuff like coming out and looking at you, making noises and stuff, like a little girl laughing or singing or whatever. That was cool, and you had to walk through this whole cramped thing. So, yeah, so I like that. And the guard said that yeah, if we like that, then it would be really cool if we came during Halloween, because apparently for Halloween they do a whole production where they decorate the entire ghost town. Yeah, with stuff, and they have like people with costumes walking around, scaring you. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure Halloween is a big thing for them. Would be cool to visit. Mm. How come there's XP for here, but no XP for like commenters in regular videos? Is that just too much information to calculate? I like how Losh just got kicked off her crown, her throne. She fell off. Du-du-du-du. It says it resets every stream. Oh, I see. Oh, where does it say that? It resets every stream. Oh, cool. Gotcha. Why don't I get to participate? Not cool. Okay, anyways. Let's cemental it up. Wasn't there a big YouTube creator meeting last week? Maybe it's something they announced there. You think so? All right. Announce later. Video. Rank. Top. Throne. Crown. Create. Cry. Cat. Late. Oh, early. Time. Arrive. Knob. Introduce. Graduation. Enter. Enter. Here. Where? There. Now. Took. Computer. Water. Air. Fire. Pass. Past. Early. Late. What's another word for on time? Punctual. Eve. Yesterday. Oh, today. Tomorrow. Last. Week. Month. Maybe. Yeah, Yesterday, tomorrow, return, yesterday, temporary, quiet. How about like month? Fortnight? That is fortnight. Not a word. Day, pass. Day, month, hour, year, month. West, quest, night, time. We tried. Evening, afternoon, some kind of temporal thing. Oh, temporal. Noon, afternoon, eh? When? How about dusk, dawn? Monday. Weekend? Okay. Weekend, afternoon, weekday? No. Night. Midnight? How about sunset? Sunrise. Sun. Day, noon, siesta. Afternoon. After. Before. What else happens in the afternoon? Rush, like rush hour. Hour. How about nap time? Nap time. Date. How about birth day? Birthday. Date. Anniversary. What could it be? Like some kind of special, maybe a holiday? Oh, it's not. Afternoon, weekend, day. Calendar. How about nighttime? Afternoon, later, delay. Rise. 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 Lift. Arise. Lift. Lift. What does the rise and lift have to do with afternoon and weekend? Wake. Like awake. Awaken. Sleep. Dream. Lift. Rise. Dawn. Fly. We tried sunrise. Dawn we tried. Afternoon, lift, rise. Noontime. Noontime. Okay. What? Work. Hours. Hourly. Daily. Rise. Lift. Lift. Break. Oh, like daybreak. Break fast. Peak. Apogee. Peak. Solstice. The like position of the earth and the sun. Cereal. Like eating cereal. Fast. Sun. Earth. Planet. Season. Yes. Downcase it. Season. Snack. Lunch. Sundog. What is a sundog? Afternoon. Afternoon lift. How about ride? Like a lift. Oh, ride! Ride. Car. Bike. It's the ring around the sun. Like a rainbow. Oh. A sundog? I've never heard of that. Ring. Moon. Ride. Sunrise. We try that. Riding. Horse. Road trip? Oh, it's 26. Why is it tepid? Trip. Oh, road. Hold on. Hello. Bus. Vacation? Holiday break. Commute. Sick day. Trip. Vacation. Flight. No flight. Hotel. Wait a minute. Rental. Voyage. A trip. A quest. An odyssey. Schedule. How about road? Highway. Expedition. Fall? What? They're also disconnected. Fall? Die. Bounce. Itinerary. Bounce? Spring. Bounce. Solstice we tried. Jump. Hello. Fly. Leave. Bounce. Run. Jog. Running. Stumble. Ugh. Tackle. Run, jump. What else do you do? Swim. Bounce. Skip. Hop. Go. Get. Exercise. What? So afternoon has nothing to do with it. Maybe you exercise in the afternoon. Bounce. Accident. Crash. Jump. Stumble. Hop. What else? What else do you do? Bounce. Spin. Twirl. You can fall. You can trip. Oh, trip like you trip, not a trip. Equinox. Trip. Fall. Bounce. Harm. Fly we tried. Oof. Hurt. Juggle. Bounce. Drop. Fear. Pull. Push. Oh, push. Shove. No, not shove. Force. Headbutt. Kick. Homonym. Push, shove, cycle. What is it? Hit. Punch. Attack. Push, bounce, scratch. Touch. Throw. Not throw. trip, wipe, smack, press, wrestle, resist. What? Okay, you can bounce, you can push, you can hold, play, you can throw, you can choke. You can tie someone. You can hit. What else can you do? Stab? No. It's push, bounce, run, squeeze, crush. Oh, can dominate, destroy, slip, pass. Huh. Push. You can run, bounce, push. What else can you do? Drink. You can sport. What about a ball? What about a basketball? No. You can punt, push, smash, spike a ball, spike, ram something, baseball. I don't think it's a sport. Run, bounce, push, volley, pinch, press. I think we tried that. How about poke? What? Push, bounce, shove, tackle. What else do you do? Slam, slam. You can dunk. Oof. Can knee someone. Can gouge. You can elbow. Celebrate. Celebrate. Eliminate. Maybe it's something fun. Push. Bounce. Bounce. Jiggle. Can sing. Shout. Shout. Scream. Can whistle. Are my ads in French because of Canada? How about Canada? Ad. West. Can move. Move. Movement. Movement. Clock. Position. Movement. Walk. Orbit. Rotate. You can spin. Push. You can dive. Okay, there's no more movement. Pushing. Psyduck, you did lose your crown. Oof. Yikes. Motion. Well, emotion. Movement. What kind of movement? Movement of time. You angered Google by pointing out the ads. That must be it. Point. Oh, point. How about flick? How about hand? Slap. Guys. Push, movement, bounce. What else do you do? Run, exit, force we tried. pressure, like apply pressure. Apply, push, movement. How about trajectory? Vector. Speed. No. Shape. No. Move. Feet. Run. Ankle. Pull, we tried. Oh my god. Okay, well, I feel like we're gonna be here forever. Up. Down. Turn. Right. Left. North. Ha! The latitude. Longitude. Slice. Oh. Tennis. Tennis ball. Energy. Potential. Kinetic. Wait. Kinetic. Break, we tried. Grab, we tried. How about rip? No. Movement. Movement, bounce. A ball, bounce. Suck. Spit. Swallow. Pick. Stop. Go. Oh no. Remove. Retrieve. We just do random things that boil. Push. Movement. Still. Remain. Hold, we tried. Movement. Of what? World. Book. Society. Societal movement. Nope. A revolution. A push. Campaign. Campaign! Push. A movement. Oh, wait. Wait. A movement. A campaign. A political campaign. Course. Agenda. Voting. Vote. Campaign. Success. Campaign. War. Conflict. Surge. How about surge? Forward. Advance. Rush. Surge. Advancement. An attack, right? A surge. Surge. A rush. A march. A protest. A demonstration. Outburst. Okay, march is very close. Protest. Okay, it's a march, a protest. What do you call? What else do you call a protest? A demonstration. A civil disobedience. A rally. Ah, so good. Ah, good job. Good job. Oh, you are number one. Whoa. Lost got 150 XP. Maybe it goes by every 75 XP. Revolt. Okay. All right, good job. Wow, that was 285. Good job, guys. For a reward, I get to eat. How about this? Can you see? Ooh. Can't really see it. It's beef jerky. Some Chinese beef jerky type of thing. Let's see how it tastes. We rallied at the end. We sure did. Okay. Quite oily. It's these little pieces of jerky. Can you see? They're quite spongy. Oh. Smells like it has a lot of flavor. Ooh. It's spicy. It's spongy. It's sweet. It's pretty good. Yeah, the oil is like, it's probably hot oil. Not bad, actually. It's got to be like a 8.2. I don't know about the sponginess. I think I would like it harder, like actual beef jerky. Well, it's pretty good. Okay. All right, now my hand is full of hot oil. Yeah. How do you guys like your beef jerky? I don't like it when it's easy to bite off. I like hard ones. I bought this beef jerky from a place once. I forgot where. It's like some online place. But yeah, but when it came, it was hard beef jerky. Oh, it's tough to bite. Oh, I love that. It's so good. I also like the pepper taste in beef jerky. Yeah, sometimes I take I open the bag of beef jerky and then I put in some white pepper, like the powdered white pepper, and then shake it up. Oh, so good. Rip teeth. You know what? Did you really expect to keep all your teeth? They're gonna go away at some point. What I've heard is that we don't, like modern humans, we don't use our teeth that much. Like back in the day, they bit a lot, like a lot of hard stuff. Okay, this is what I heard. And it kind of built their jaw muscles. And apparently there's like some other advantages to that, some benefits to that, like health benefits. I'm not sure how true that is. But yeah. But nowadays we don't bite that on hard stuff a lot, okay? Our foods are relatively soft, so we don't build up those jaw muscles. Soup was the downfall of humanity. Yeah, maybe that's how you get like ripped jaws. A nice jawline. Just eat a lot of hard beef jerky. That's why we need to mew. Is mewing, does that actually work? I've seen people do it. It's very silly. But hey, if it works. All right. It must work. Why? All right. Oh my god, that took a while. Samantha was really long. Okay. So what happened last week? Last week, if you remember. No, wait, not last week. More than 2 weeks ago. Guojing and Hongrong, they return to Peach Blossom Island and they find the dead bodies of 5 of the freaks of Jiangnan. One of them died from the 9 yin white bone claw technique, and presumably only Huang Yaoxi knows this technique at this point. So it's made to look, it looks like Huang Yaoxi killed them, or someone made it look that way. Okay. Now I think we know another person who knows the 9 yin white bone claw, and that's Yang Kang. So I have a feeling that's him. Then we later on we meet Nan Shiren, who is about to die, but he writes in the dirt the beginning of the name of the person who killed him. And Guojing interprets it as the beginning of the character Huang for Huang Yaoxi. So Guojing is convinced that Huang Yaoxi is the culprit. Guojing leaves Huang Rong on the island to go off by himself. Okay, she's pretty sad, but Guojing is pretty broken up. He goes to the Drunken Immortal Tavern where he meets Chu Chu Chi, the Taoist. And he breaks the news to Chu Chu Chi that most of the 6 freaks of Jiangnan are dead. And Chu Chu Chi is devastated. Huang Yaoxi, but then Huang Yaoxi enters the tavern, okay, out of nowhere, and Guojing attacks him, but Huang Yaoxi dodges Guojing easily. And Huang Yaoxi and Chu Chu Chi, they jump out of the tavern. Guojing runs after them, and he finds Huang Yaoxi in battle with the Chenjin sect and the last freak of Jiangnan, Kuzhanu. And that's where we left off. How's that? Oh yeah, he was able to write, "The person who killed me is," and then he just stopped at the starting of the person's name. Yeah, you would think that he could write that name at the beginning, but you know. All right, so the Chenjin people are fighting Huang Yaoxi. During the chaos in New Jia village, only 2 Chenjin disciples had drawn their... Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. Chapter 34. Part 2. During the chaos in New Jia village, only 2 Chenjin disciples had drawn their swords. The rest fought barehanded. That was already a perilous fight. Now, with 7 weapons, 6 swords, and a staff, the scene was even more intense. And yet, Huang Yaoxi remained empty-handed, moving effortlessly through the flashing blades and whirling staff. He seemed purely on the defensive, dodging and evading dozens of strikes without once attacking. Guojing was secretly pleased. No matter how powerful your magic, today justice will catch up with you. Suddenly, Huang Yaoxi planted his left foot and swept his right leg around twice in a circular motion, forcing all 8 attackers to retreat 3 steps. Guojing silently praised, "What a beautiful leaf-sweeping leg technique." Hong Yaoshi turned and looked up at the tower, waving at Hong Qigong and Guo Jing with a calm and easy smile, hardly the expression of someone under duress. Guo Jing's doubts grew. Then Huang suddenly switched from defense to offense, swinging his left palm diagonally down at Liu Chuxuan's head. That strike should not have been blocked, according to the formation. Qiu Chuqi in the Tianqian position and Ku Jianu in the Tianxuan position were supposed to support and intercept, but Ku Jianu, being blind, relied on hearing to substitute for sight. Against someone as fast and unpredictable as Huang Yaoshi, how could he react in time? Oh, someone dying? Qiu Chuqi's sword flashed toward Huang's right armpit, but by the time Yin Qiping shouted instructions and Ku Jianu responded with a thrust of his staff, it was already a beat too late. Liu Chuxuan heard the rushing wind. Huang's palm was already descending on his crown. In a panic, he dropped and rolled aside just in time. Ma Yu and Wang Chuyi, watching from nearby, knew this strike had nearly been fatal. Their swords flew forward in unison. Liu had escaped, but the formation was now broken. Huang Yaoshi laughed and lunged toward Sun Bu'er. After 3 steps, he suddenly darted backward, slamming his back toward Hao Datong. Hao had never seen such a move before and hesitated briefly. He raised his sword to stab Huang's spine, but in that instant, Huang vanished like a startled rabbit, bursting through the encirclement and coming to a stop 20 feet away. Hong Qigong laughed. "Ho, ho, ho. That move of old heretic Huang's was brilliant." "I'm going," Guo Jing shouted, rushing for the stairs. "Don't rush," said Hong Qigong. "Your future father-in-law wasn't fighting back at first. I was worried for your first master, but now looks like he has no intent to harm anyone." Guo Jing returned to the window. "How can you tell?" "If he wanted to hurt someone," Hong said, taking another bite of lamb he's always eating, "that scrawny Taoist would already be dead. These juniors are no match for him." He chewed a bit and added, "Before your future father-in-law and Qiu Chuqi arrived, those Taoists and your first master were setting up the formation down there. But the Big Dipper formation isn't something you learn in the afternoon. Those old Taoists tried to keep your first master out of the fight, but he refused to stand aside. Clenched his teeth and wouldn't listen. No idea what caused such a deep grudge between him and your father-in-law. In the end, he took the Tianxuan spot with Yin Jiping backing him, but they still couldn't hold back your father-in-law's attacks." Guo Jing gritted his teeth. "He's not my father-in-law." Hong Qigong blinked. "Eh? Since when?" That old scoundrel," Guo Jing growled. "Something happened with Rong Hong asked. "You two had a fight?" "It's not her fault," Guo Jing said, teeth clenched. "That old villain. He killed my 5 masters. I'll never forgive him." Hong Qigong was stunned. "Is that true?" But Guo Jing didn't hear him. He was completely focused on the fierce battle below. Huang Yaoshi was now using his palm of splitting the void, sending sharp gusts whistling through the air. His 8 opponents couldn't even get close. If it were just Ma Yu, Qiu Chuqi, Wang Chuyi, and the other top disciples, Huang might not have been able to keep them all at bay with just his bare hands. But the formation moved as one. If Sun Bu'er, Ku Jianu, or Yin Jiping were pressured and fell back, the rest had to retreat too. They advanced 1 step, retreated 2, growing ever farther from Huang Yaoshi. Yet somehow the formation's structure remained intact. At this point, the long swords of the Chenjin sect could no longer reach Huang Yaoshi, who now waited patiently for an opening to attack. After a few more exchanges, Hong Qigong murmured, "So that's it." Guo Jing quickly asked, "What is it?" Hong Qigong said, "Old heretic Huang is deliberately baiting them to fully spread out their formation. He wants to observe the subtleties of the Big Dipper array. That's why he's been holding back from striking. Within 10 moves, he'll start to close the circle." Although Hong Qigong had lost his internal strength, his insight remained razor sharp. Indeed, Huang Yaoshi's strikes began to weaken one after another, and the Chenjin disciples gradually tightened their encirclement. Within the time it takes to drink a cup of tea, the fighters were crowded close together. It looked as though Liu Chuxuan, Qiu Chuqi, Wang Chuyi, and Hao Da Tong could simultaneously thrust their swords into Huang Yaoxi. But somehow all four blades passed right by his body, missing by mere inches. Had they not retracted their swords quickly, they might have stabbed their fellow disciples by mistake. In such tight quarters, every move came down to hair's breadth margins. Guo Jing understood that as soon as Huang Yaoxi figured out the formation, he would stop stalling. Once he broke the formation, those in the most danger would be his first master Ku Zhenu and Yin Ji Ping. The two of them were too far away. He wouldn't be able to help in time. Seeing the imminent peril, Guo Jing said to Hong Qigong, "Disciple is going down." Without waiting for a response, he sprinted down the stairs. When he got closer, he saw the battle had shifted. Huang Yaoxi was moving constantly toward Ma Yu's left side, farther and farther out, as if trying to break free and escape. Guo Jing gripped his short sword, ready to pounce the moment Huang turned to flee. But then he heard Wang Chuyi whistle sharply. He and Hao Da Tong, along with Sun Bu'er, turned the handle of the Big Dipper to the left, keeping Huang trapped at the center. Huang Yaoxi shifted positions 3 more times. Each time, either Wang Chuyi moved the handle or Qiu Chuji adjusted the ladle. The ladle? Ladle. Ladle? Always blocking Huang from reaching Ma Yu's left. On the 4th attempt, Guo Jing suddenly realized, of course, he's trying to seize the Polaris position. He recalled the time at Niujia village when, while injured, he had watched the Chenjin 7 form the Big Dipper array from behind a wall, fighting both Mei Qiaofeng and later Huang Yaoxi. He had later discussed the formation and the celestial stars with Huang Rong, learning that drawing a straight line from the stars Duphe and Mirak pointed directly to Polaris. Polaris never moves from true north, while the Dipper stars revolve around it. Later, when Guo Jing was captured by the beggar sect at Lake Dongting's Junshan Island, he had again observed the stars and gained new insights into the array. However, all he had done was incorporate parts of the formation's synergy and support into his own combat techniques. Huang Yaoxi, a man of vastly superior intellect, who mastered astronomy, divination, and the 5 elements, had pondered deeply after failing to break the formation in Niujia village. He had realized the array's core flaw. While Guo Jing had sought to learn the formation, Huang Yaoxi sought only to break it. He knew that if he seized the Polaris position, the Big Dipper array would collapse. And if it didn't, he could station himself there and take control, waiting and exhausting the others, ensuring he stood in an invincible position. The Chenjin disciples gradually realized he had found the key weakness in their formation and were inwardly alarmed. If Ten Chu Duen had still been alive, the 7 disciples would have functioned as one and never allowed Huang to claim Polaris. But now Ku Zhenu and Yin Jiping had taken over the Tianxuan position. Their skills were weaker, and they were unfamiliar with the array, drastically weakening its power. Ma Yu and the others knew that a prolonged battle would lead to disaster. What's more, with Guo Jing watching from the side, if Huang Yaoxi were truly in danger, would Guo Jing, tied to him by bonds of love, stand by and do nothing? But the deaths of their senior and fellow disciples demanded vengeance. If 6 disciples of the world-renowned Wang Chongyang couldn't even defeat Huang Yaoxi, then how could Chen Jin still claim the title of orthodox martial authority? Their reputation would be utterly ruined. Suddenly, Huang Yaoxi laughed and said, "Ha ha ha ha! I never thought Wang Chongyang's disciples could be this blind to reality. With that, he suddenly darted at Sun Bu'er, slashing 3 consecutive palm strikes. Ma Yu and Hao Da Tong rushed forward with their swords to protect her. Huang tilted his body and evaded their blades. Then, swish, 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 another 3 palm strikes toward Sun Bu'er. As the master of Peach Blossom Island, Huang Yaoshi's palm techniques were extraordinarily refined. These 6 strikes, had Wang Chongyang been reborn or Hong Qigong fully recovered, would have still had to yield. How could Sun Bu'er hope to defend? Seeing the gusting palms, she could only spin her sword in flower-like arcs to guard herself. Then Huang launched a flurry of 6 kicks with his legs, combining the falling blossom divine sword palm and leaf sweeping kicks. This was the Peach Blossom Islands' wild wind technique. If his opponent didn't retreat after 6 strikes, the next 6 would follow, faster and faster, up to a total of 36 in a storm-like barrage. Even a seasoned fighter would be overwhelmed. Ma Yu and the others saw him focusing entirely on Sun Bu'er and immediately closed in to support her. Under such pressing conditions, the formation was bound to become disordered. Ku Zhenu, unable to see, lagged slightly as the formation turned. Huang Yaoshi let out a long laugh and darted behind him. Suddenly, a loud "Ayah!" rang out. One figure flew through the air, crashing against the corner of the Tower of Mist and Rain. It was Yin Ji thrown by Huang Yaoshi after being seized by the back. This blow tore a bigger hole in the array. Huang didn't give them a chance to recover and instantly charged at Ma Yu. Expecting Ma Yu to dodge, he was caught off guard when Ma Yu firmly guarded the outer line with his sword while striking straight for Huang's forehead with his sword fingers. His strike was steady and powerful. Huang Yaoshi tilted aside to evade and praised, "Good! Worthy of being Chen Jin's foremost disciple!" Suddenly he turned and kicked Hao Da Tong, sending him somersaulting away, then snatched up a fallen sword and thrust at Ma Yu's chest. Oh no, it's falling apart. Liu Chuxuan cried out in alarm and swung his sword to block. Huang Yaoshi laughed, his wrist flicked, snap, and both swords shattered. Oh, wait. In a flash of blue robes, the master of Peach Blossom Island darted toward the Polaris position. With the formation now in disarray, no one could stop him. The Chenjin disciples groaned in despair. It seemed certain now the master would subjugate the servants, and the Chenjin sect would collapse in defeat that very day. Ma Yu let out a long sigh. He was just about to cast aside his sword and admit defeat, ready to let the enemy do as he pleased, when suddenly a blue blur flashed past. Huang Yaoshi turned and darted back. Someone had taken the Polaris position. It was Guo Jing. Oh shit. Are they going to defeat him? Among the Chenjin disciples, only Chu Ji was overjoyed. He had seen Guo Jing fight Huang Yaoshi to the death atop the Drunken Immortal Pavilion. Ma Yu and Wang Chuyi both knew Guo Jing was pure-hearted. Though he might assist his future father-in-law, he would never betray his master, Ku Zhenu. The rest of the disciples, however, were greatly alarmed. Now that Guo Jing had taken the Polaris position, if the father-in-law and son-in-law fought side by side, the Chenjin sect would be utterly doomed. But in the midst of their alarm, they suddenly saw that Guo Jing had drawn his sword in his right hand and raised his left palm, already fighting against Huang Yaoshi. They couldn't help but be astonished. Huang Yaoshi had just disrupted the formation, confident he could force the Chenjin disciples to their knees. Who would have thought someone would suddenly take the Polaris position? Focused entirely on dealing with the Chenjin sect, he didn't even turn to see who it was. He immediately lashed out with a Pi Kong palm, aiming straight at the man's chest. The figure deflected the blow with his left hand and stood steady as a rock. Huang Yaoshi was greatly shocked. In this world, there are very few who can take a blow from me head on. Who is this? He turned his head and saw. It was Guo Jing. Now surrounded both front and back, if he didn't drive Guo Jing away, he risked being boxed in by the Big Dipper formation. Danger was imminent. He launched 3 fierce palms at Guo Jing, but Guo Jing merely defended without attacking. His short sword stood upright in front of his chest, and his left palm slowly swept across his abdomen, maintaining the Polaris position without budging an inch. Huang Yaoshi was more startled than ever. This foolish boy! He's grasped the essence of the formation? He's holding down the Polaris position and won't move a step. He must have been trained by the Chenjin disciples to block me here. But he only guessed half right. Guo Jing had indeed mastered the key principles of the Big Dipper formation, but from the 9-yin manual, not from the Chenjin disciples. Though he was burning with hatred for his slain masters, Guo Jing kept his temper in check and stood rooted like a stake, driven deep into the earth. No matter how tempting a feint Huang Yaoshi made, Guo Jing ignored it completely. Huang Yaoshi cursed inwardly. Stupid boy doesn't know when to advance or retreat. Even if I have to make Ronger hate me, I'll have to hurt you today. Otherwise, I'll never get out of this alive. He drew a circle with his left palm, and just as it neared his chest, his right palm overlapped it, borrowing the spin for extra power. The force doubled, and he aimed to strike Guo Jing's face. But just as he unleashed the blow, a thought occurred to him. If this boy still doesn't dodge, this palm could seriously injure him. If anything happens to him, Ronger will never be happy again. Guo Jing saw the power gathered in Huang Yaoshi's strike and knew it would be devastating. He clenched his teeth and used Dragon in the Field, a move from the 18 dragon subduing palms, to take it head on. Though he knew his strength was no match, dodging would let Huang Yaoshi take the Polaris position, and then it would be near impossible to drive him out. This was a life-risking move, but to his surprise, Huang Yaoshi suddenly withdrew his palm and shouted, "Stupid boy, get out of the way! Why must you block me?" Guo Jing crouched, sword ready, staring intently in silence, wary of a trick. By now, the Chenjin disciples had reformed their formation and were encircling Huang Yaoshi from behind, waiting for the right moment to strike. Huang Yaoshi asked, "Where's Ronger? Where is she?" Guo Jing remained silent, his face dark and his eyes burning with fury. Seeing his expression, Huang Yaoshi grew suspicious. "Could it be? Something's happened to my daughter?" he shouted. "What did you do to her? Speak!" Guo Jing clenched his jaw tighter, his sword hand trembling. Huang Yaoshi scrutinized him, noticing every tiny twitch. Guo Jing's expression had changed so drastically that his suspicions only deepened. "Why is your hand shaking? Why won't you answer me?" Guo Jing thought of the horrible deaths of his masters on Peach Blossom Island. Grief and rage surged through him, his body trembling violently, eyes reddening with unshed tears. Huang Yaoshi saw him still silent, his eyes glistening with tears, and grew more fearful. Could it be they quarreled over Hua Zheng and Guo Jing killed her? He sprang forward suddenly. It's just miscommunication all the way down. Chu Chu Chi's sword flashed, and the Big Dipper formation moved as one. Wang Chuyi and Hao Datong attacked from either side with sword and palm. Guo Jing diverted the incoming attack, his short sword flashing like lightning. Huang Yaoshi ignored the blow and tried to grab Guo Jing's wrist and seize the sword, but just as his fingers closed in, Wang Chuyi's sword aimed for his back, forcing him to twist away. That small evasion cost him the opportunity. His fingers missed by 2 inches, and Guo Jing took the chance to counter. The battle now turned even fiercer than before. At first, the Chenjin disciples truly sought to kill Huang Yaoshi, to avenge Zhou Botong and Ten Chu Duan. Huang Yaoshi, however, knew there had been a misunderstanding, but prideful and arrogant, as well as a senior, he refused to explain himself, of course. He'd planned to thoroughly defeat them and then clarify the truth to humble them. That was why, until now, he had fought without truly trying to harm them. Otherwise, how could Sun Bu'er and Yin Ji-ping still be standing? But now, Guo Jing had shown up, not to help him, but to fight with all his might. Unless he killed Wrong-er, why would he fear me so much? Huang Yaoshi thought. This time, Huang Yaoshi showed no mercy. He had to capture Guo Jing and force the truth from him. If things were truly as he feared, then even if he tore Guo Jing into 1,000 pieces, it wouldn't ease his fury. But Guo Jing was now holding the Polaris position. Although Yin Ji-ping hadn't yet climbed down from the Tower of Mist and Rain, the tide had already turned. The Big Dipper formation pushed in like rolling thunder, unceasing in its momentum. Huang Yaoshi tried to repeatedly to drive Guo Jing away, but failed every time. Anxious, he began striking with even greater force, but the Chen disciples were always there to support. He considered turning to attack them and break the formation first, but the circle was tightening. He was already surrounded. Though his skills were unparalleled, even he might not escape this trap. As the fight neared a critical moment, Ma Yu raised his sword and shouted, "Hold!" The Chen disciples withdrew their attacks and returned to their positions. Ma Yu said, "Master Huang, you are a paragon of martial learning in this generation. How could we younger ones dare offend you? Today we've relied on numbers and formation to gain the advantage. As for the blood debts of our senior Zhou and junior Ten, we ask you to give us an explanation." Okay. After fighting all that time, now he's asking for an explanation. Huang Yaoshi let out a cold laugh and said, "Ha ha 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 ha. What's there to explain? Go ahead and kill old Huang if you must. Make it a fine tale for Chen Sex's legacy. Wouldn't that be glorious? Take this!" Without moving his body or lifting his arm, his right palm suddenly struck out toward Ma Yu's face. Okay. So it looks like we're not resolving this misunderstanding anytime soon. Alright, good time for a break. 5 minutes. Alright, we'll see what happens afterwards. Be right back. Alright, we're back. So, Huang Yaoshi did a surprise attack against Ma Yu. Ma Yu was startled and dodged aside, but Huang Yaoshi's palm attack came with no warning before its release and was impossible to predict once unleashed. It was a deceptive and deadly move from his Falling Blossom Divine Palm, a technique he had spent 10 years perfecting and intended to use to claim victory at the second Huashan sword debate. Oh, his ultimate move. In a group melee, it had limited use, but in one-on-one combat, even a master like Ma Yu could not withstand it. If Ma Yu had stood still, it might have been fine, but dodging right only caused him to run directly into the follow-up strike. Alarmed, he cried, "No good!" and tried to block, but Huang Yaoshi's palm had already reached his chest. One surge of power, and Ma Yu's heart and lungs would be crushed. The 5 Chen disciples were horrified and rushed in with sword and palm. But how could they make it in time? It seemed Ma Yu's life was forfeit, when suddenly Huang Yaoshi laughed and withdrew his hand. "Ha ha 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 ha. If I won like this," he said, "you'd never admit defeat. If old Huang is to die, let it be with dignity. I won't have the world's heroes mock me. Come on then, good Taoists, all of you at once." It's been downgraded from a competition to a convention to a debate. Liu Qushuan gave a snort and struck with his fist. Wang Chuyi followed immediately with a sword thrust. The Big Dipper formation was once again in motion. This time they employed the 17th variation. After Wang Chuyi's attack, Ma Yu was to press forward. Wang Chuyi struck, then moved aside, but Ma Yu didn't advance. Instead, he stepped back 2 paces and called out, "Hold!" Everyone halted again. Ma Yu said, "Island Master Huang, I thank you for your mercy." Huang Yaoshi replied, "Think nothing of it." Ma Yu continued, "By all reason, my life should have ended just now. Our late master's formation has been broken by you. If we knew better, we should surrender and accept your judgment. But the blood debt of our fellow brothers cannot go unavenged. Once that is resolved, I will gladly offer my neck in apology." Huang Yaoshi's expression darkened. He waved his hand and said, "Enough talk. Let's get on with it. The affairs of the world, grievances, and vengeance are never easy to untangle." Guo Jing thought, Ma Daozhang and the others are fighting to avenge their brothers, but Brother Zhou is alive and well, and Daoist 10 was killed by Ouyang Feng. It had nothing to do with Island Master Huang. If I step forward now and explain the truth, the Chen disciples will surely withdraw. Then, with only Master and me left, how could we possibly win? Not only will I fail to avenge my masters, but I'll likely die as well. Then another thought struck him. But if I conceal the truth, I'm no better than a scoundrel. My masters always taught me, you may lose your head, but never your integrity. So he raised his voice and said, Daoist Ma, Daoist Chu, Daoist Wang, your senior Zhou is not dead, and Daoist 10 was killed by Ouyang Feng. Finally! Chu Chu Chi cried. What did you say? Guo Jing then recounted how he had been healing in a hidden room in Neojia village and overheard the whole series of events, Qiu Qianqi's lies, the ensuing battle, and Ouyang Feng's deception. Though not eloquent, Guo Jing explained the crucial parts clearly. The Chenjin disciples listened with some skepticism. Qiu Chuchi barked, Is this true? Guo Jing pointed at Huang Yaoshi and declared, I wish nothing more than to devour this villain alive. How could I speak in his defense unless it were true? The 6 Taoists knew Guo Jing to be honest and righteous. Given his hatred for Huang Yaoshi, his words had to be sincere. Huang Yaoshi was taken aback. He hadn't expected Guo Jing to speak on his behalf. He asked, Why do you hate me so much? Where's Wrong-er? Ku Zhen'e cut in. You know very well what you've done. Jing-er, even if we can't beat him, we have to fight this old scoundrel to the death. He raised his iron staff and swept it at Huang Yaoshi. Guo Jing heard his master's words and realized he had been forgiven. A rush of gratitude filled his heart, and tears streamed down his face. Hey, can't fight like that. Master, he cried. Second master and the others. The 5 of them died so horribly. Huang Yaoshi reached out and caught the head of Ku Zhen'e's staff. He asked Guo Jing, What did you say? Zhu Tong, Han Baoju, they were guests on my island. How could they be dead? Ku Zhen'e yanked his staff back with all his strength, but it didn't budge. Huang Yaoshi asked again, You dare insult your elder and raise your hand against me. Was it all for Zhu Tong and the others? Guo Jing's eyes burned with fury. You personally murdered my 5 masters, and now you pretend not to know? He raised his short sword and thrust straight at him. Huang Yaoshi flung the iron staff aside. With a clash, sword and staff collided, sparks flying. The short sword was so sharp it cut a notch into the iron staff. Huang Yaoshi asked, Who saw it happen? Guo Jing replied, I buried the 5 of them with my own hands. Do you think I'd wrongly accuse you? Huang Yaoshi sneered. So what if it's unjust? I've lived my whole life as a lone wolf. If I've killed a few people, so be it. Yes, your masters were all killed by me. Oh, come on. Why does he do this? Why? Suddenly, a woman's voice rang out. No, father, it wasn't you. You mustn't take the blame. Everyone turned their heads. The speaker was none other than Huang Rong. So focused had they been on the fight that no one noticed her arrival. Guojing was stunned at the sight of her. In that instant, he didn't know whether to feel joy or sorrow. Seeing that his daughter was safe, Huang Yaoshi was overwhelmed with relief. His hatred for Guojing vanished in a flash. Laughing heartily, he cried out, "Ha ha ha ha! Good girl! Come here and let your father hold you." After days of suffering, Huang Rong finally heard a kind word. She rushed forward and fell into her father's arms, crying, "Father, the stupid boy falsely accused you, and he bullied me too." Huang Yaoshi held his daughter in his arms and chuckled. Old Huang does as he pleases. Long ago, the ignorant masses blamed all the sins of the world on your father. A few more added to the list. What difference does it make? The Jiangnan Five Freaks were your senior sister Mei's enemies. Yes, I did kill them with my own hands. No, no, Huang Rong cried out anxiously. It wasn't you. I know it wasn't you. Huang Yaoshi smiled faintly. Silly girl. This dumb boy dared to bully my precious daughter. Watch how your father teaches him a lesson. As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly lashed out with a palm strike, swift as lightning, truly coming without shadow or sound. Now, these people like to fight, don't they? Guojing had still been pondering the exchange between the father and daughter when smack! A hot sting landed across his left cheek from a resounding slap. Just as he raised his hand to block, Huang Yaoshi's palm had already withdrawn, gently stroking Huang Rong's hair instead. Though the slap sounded loud, it lacked force. Guojing stood dumbfounded, rubbing his cheek, unsure whether to retaliate or stand down. Hearing the slap, Kujanu feared Huang Yaoshi had struck a fatal blow. Jinger, what happened? He cried anxiously. I'm fine, Guojing replied. Kujanu said, Don't be fooled by that demon and his little wit trying to talk their way out of it. I may be blind, but your fourth master said it himself. He saw this old villain kill your second master and force your seventh to... Before he could finish, Guojing surged forward and launched himself at Huang Yaoshi. Kujanu's iron staff swept in as well. Huang Yaoshi set his daughter down and sidestepped Guojing's strike, then lunged to seize the staff. But this time, Kujanu had prepared himself and evaded capture. Master and disciple joined forces, and the three quickly fell into a fierce, tangled melee. Guojing, though trained by many masters and skilled in various powerful techniques, was still no match for the martial arts Grand Master that was the Lord of Peach Blossom Island. Even with Kujanu's aid, after 2 or 3 dozen moves, they were clearly overwhelmed. Oh, silly girl should have been on the island. Maybe they can ask her? Maybe. Chu Chuchi thought, They helped us when the Chenchen sector was in danger. Now that they're losing, how can we stand aside? Never mind whether Master Zhou is alive or dead, we must first defeat this old scoundrel before deciding anything else. Pointing with his sword, he called, Hiroku, return to your position! By now, Yin Jiping had climbed down from the top of Yan Yu Tower. Though bruised and battered, he was not seriously hurt. He rushed to guard Kujanu's rear with his sword. The Big Dipper formation began to move again, encircling Huang Yaoshi and his daughter at the center. Huang Yaoshi was furious. Misunderstandings before, fine, but now that the truth is out, you lot are still ganging up on me. Does old Huang really not know how to kill? His figure blurred as he lunged toward Kujanu's left. Seeing the murderous intent on her father's face, Huang Rong's heart chilled. But Wang Chuyi and Ma Yu stepped in to block the attack. Kujanu, however, was cursing furiously as he brought his iron staff down on her shoulder. "Wicked little slut! Demon girl! Filthy wretch from Peach Blossom Island!" Huang Rong had never let anyone get the better of her. Her anger exploded. "Say that again if you dare!" The Jiangnan 7 freaks were all raised in the streets. Harsh language was no issue. Kujanu hated the father and daughter to the bone. Hearing her challenge, he unleashed the vilest insults he could think of. Huang Rong, raised in seclusion, had never been exposed to such crude language. Though clever beyond compare, she had to pause to understand each line, and the deeper it went, the more shocking and confusing it became. Oh, he's a master cursor there. Finally, she spat. "You call yourself a master and speak such filth?" Kujanu barked. "I speak clean words with decent folks, filthy words with filthy whores. The filthier you are, the filthier I speak." Furious, Huang Rong raised her bamboo stick and struck straight at him. Kujanu countered with his staff, but the dog-beating staff technique was profoundly exquisite. After just a few moves, his staff was caught by her pull technique. Her stick controlled its every movement. East when the stick moved east, west when it moved west, completely restricted. Kujanu held the Tianxuan position in the formation. Once he was trapped, the formation faltered. Chu Chu Cheese's sword flashed as he stabbed toward Huang Rong's back. Normally, this would have forced her to release Kujanu, but she, wearing the soft hedgehog armor, ignored it completely and changed her staff technique, attacking 3 times in a row. Chu Chu Cheese's sword tip touched her back. He hesitated. How could someone like me strike a little girl? Though his sword pressed against her back, he didn't thrust forward. That hesitation gave Huang Rong the opening she needed. Her bamboo stick looped back in a hooking motion, leveraging the force of the subduing demon's staff style. Kujanu's strength turned against him, and the staff flew from his grip, sailing through the air and plop into South Lake. Ooh. Wang Chuyi feared she'd follow up, so he stepped in front of Kujanu and raised his sword. Though experienced and knowledgeable, even he had never seen the likes of the dog-beating staff, and he was deeply surprised. Guojing, seeing his master in trouble, cried, "Master, please rest. I'll take your place." Ah, is he fighting her? He leaped from the North Star position and rushed to Tianxuan. By now, his martial arts exceeded even that of the Chenjin disciples, and he fully understood the formations' inner workings. With him in control, the formations' power surged. Though Tianchen was the core, with him at Tianxuan, the axis shifted, causing the formation to transform. While less stable than the standard pattern, Huang Yaoshi couldn't figure it out in the moment. Despite Huang Rong's help, he struggled to withstand the pressure. Fortunately, the Chenjin disciples were holding back. Only Guojing fought as if his life depended on it. Even so, Huang Yaoshi barely managed to endure. As the battle wore on, Guojing pressed in closer. With backup from the Chenjin Sixth, Huang Yaoshi couldn't injure him and had to rely on his supreme agility to dodge the ferocious flurry of strikes. Huang Rong saw that the usual kind, gentle face of Guojing was now shadowed with murderous intent, ferocious and frightening, as though he had become a stranger. Her heart clenched in fear. She stepped in front of her father and said, "Kill me first, then." Guojing's eyes blazed. "Out of the way!" he roared. Huang Rong froze. "How could you speak to me like that?" she thought. Guojing surged forward, shoved her aside with one arm, and leapt straight at Huang Yaoshi. Suddenly, a loud laugh rang out from behind them. "Ha ha 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 ha! Brother Yao, don't worry. I've come to help you." The voice rang sharp and jarring. No one dared to turn around immediately. Instead, the Big Dipper formation shifted until Huang Yaoshi's back was protected. Only then did they see 5 or 6 figures standing by the lakeside, tall and short. Leading them was a lanky man with long arms and legs, none other than the Western Venom, Ouyang Feng. He's here. The 7 masters of Chenjin let out a collective whistle of warning. Chu Chu Chi called, Jinger, let's settle things with the Western Venom first. With a wave of his sword, the 6 Chenjin disciples surrounded Ouyang Feng. But Guo Jing was completely focused on Huang Yaoshi, seemingly deaf to Chu Chu Chi's command. As soon as the Chenjin 6 pulled away, he leapt at Huang Yaoshi again. The two traded rapid strikes, exchanging 5 or 6 moves in an instant. Neither landed a blow. They leapt apart, squared their shoulders, and stared each other down. Guo Jing shouted and attacked again, only to break apart once more after several moves. By now, the Chenjin 6 had reformed their formation. As for Ku Jian-e, he stood unarmed beside Huang Yaoshi, listening intently, palms open, clearly ready to sacrifice himself by latching onto Huang Yaoshi and giving Guo Jing a clear shot at his vital points. Oh damn. Chu Chu Chi gestured to Yin Jiping, instructing him to take up the Tian Xuan position. Ma Yu then chanted loudly, Grasping the spirit pearl, I often raise my brush. Heart open to the heavens, I never blow the flute. These were the very lines that Ten Chuduan had spoken before his death. Hearing them now, the Chenjin disciples' grief and rage surged anew. Sword light flared, palm shadows danced. They all attacked Ouyang Feng in unison. Ouyang Feng's snake staff darted and retracted, forcing back all 7 attackers. He had witnessed the might of the Chenjin sect's Big Dipper formation at Niujia village and remained wary. He focused on defense, biding his time. As the formation pressed its attacks, Ouyang Feng skillfully countered and analyzed its structure. Before long, he identified the Tian Xuan position, currently held by Yin Jiping, as the weak link. With this flaw, he thought, the formation is nothing to fear. He guarded his vital points while surveying the battlefield. Meanwhile, Guo Jing and Huang Yaoshi were locked in a fierce close-quarters duel. Huang Rong used her bamboo stick to keep Ku Jian-e at bay a dozen feet away, shouting repeatedly, Wait, let me explain. Yeah, let her explain, guys. But Guo Jing didn't hear her. He struck relentlessly, one palm after another. Huang Rong saw that her father was still holding back, but Guo Jing's unrelenting aggression was driving him to the edge. As Huang Yaoshi's face darkened with rising anger, and his strikes grew heavier, she grew more alarmed. A single mistake from either side could lead to death. Glancing up at the Yanyu Tower, she saw Hong Qigong leaning on the railing and called out, Master, Master, please come settle this. Hong Qigong had already seen how dire the situation was, but having lost his martial arts, he was powerless to stop the fighting. Her cry sparked an idea. If old Huang still has some affection for me, there might yet be a way. He pressed down on the railing and floated gently to the ground, calling, Everyone stop! This old beggar has something to say. The 9-fingered divine beggar was still a legendary figure in the martial world. At the sight of him, all hearts trembled with respect. Instinctively, the fighters halted. Ouyang Feng was the first to curse silently. How is this old beggar's martial arts back, ribbit? He didn't know that Hong Qigong, after hearing Guo Jing recite the Sanskrit portion of the 9-yin manual, had recently begun cultivating its techniques. Wait, has Ouyang Feng been practicing the fake 9-yin manual? He should, right? I want to see. What are the results of it? Though his martial arts had once been ruined, he had already unblocked one of the 8 extraordinary meridians. His skill in lightness techniques had returned by 30 to 40%. Though his strikes still lacked real force, no better than a strong man with no training, his body movement was so fluid and deceptive that even a keen observer like Ouyang Feng couldn't tell how little actual strength he had. Seeing that the crowd still feared him, Hong Qigong thought, if I don't play the part, this mess won't untangle. But what can I say to make the Chenjin disciples listen and to get old poison to back off? And hopefully Hong Qigong gets to see it. Yeah. Lacking a plan, he simply looked up and laughed, catching sight of the moon just rising, its bright, round disk suddenly chipped on one side. An idea struck. He said loudly, what a bunch of so-called top experts, fighting like bandits and talking like flatulence. Everyone paused, startled. Knowing the old beggar's love of blunt speech, they weren't offended, but clearly he had something to say. Ma Yu bowed and said, Senior, please enlighten us. Hong Qigong snapped. I've heard for days that there'd be a brawl beside Yan Yu Tower on this mid-autumn festival. Old beggar hates noise, so I figured it wouldn't start until tomorrow. I could at least get one good night's sleep. But damn, since early morning it's been clang this, crash that. First is piss pots and chamber pots, then husbands beating wives, sons-in-laws fighting father-in-laws, like slaughtering pigs and butchering dogs. You people want me to go deaf with all this racket? He pointed to the moon. Look up! What day is it? Everyone turned and suddenly remembered. It was only the 14th of the 8th lunar month. The duel at Yanyu Tower was scheduled for the 15th. Besides, the main challengers, Peng Lianhu, Xia Tongqian, and the others, hadn't even arrived yet. Starting the fight now was premature. Qiu Chuqi said, Senior, your rebuke is just. We shouldn't have disturbed the peace today. Turning to Ouyang Feng, he said, Ouyang Feng, let's find another place to settle our score. Ouyang Feng laughed. Excellent. I'm happy to oblige. Hong Qigong's face darkened as he said, Ever since Huang Chongyang passed away, the Chenjin sect's bunch of ragged-haired Taoists have been a total mess. Let me tell you the truth. 5 male Taoists, a female nun, a junior disciple with barely any martial arts skill. That lot isn't even close to a match for the old venom. Wang Chongyang never left me any great favors. Even if all the Chenjin Taoists dropped dead, I wouldn't bat an eye. But I still have to ask, how exactly are you going to fulfill your duel tomorrow? What's a bunch of dead Taoists going to fight with? His words were clearly mocking the Chenjin disciples, but they carried an underlying warning. Taking on Ouyang Feng would be a fight to the death. If the Chenjin 7 couldn't even handle Huang Yaoxi, they definitely weren't a match for Ouyang Feng. The 6 of them were all seasoned in the martial world and well understood his meaning. But with a blood feud before them, how could they retreat? Hong Qigong glanced sideways and saw Guojing glaring fiercely at Huang Yaoxi, while Huang Rong's eyes welled with tears. Knowing how complicated the entanglements were, he thought, Once old urchin arrives, with his skills we can hold the floor, and then this old beggar can speak his piece. So he shouted, Old beggar wants to sleep. Anyone who keeps fighting is picking a fight with me. Tomorrow night you can flip the heavens and smash the earth. I won't lift a finger. Ma Yu, have your scruffy Taoist crew sit down and train up your inner strength. Even last-minute practice is better than none. Jinger, Runger, compound my legs. Ouyang Feng still held some fear of him and thought, if he sides with the Chenjin lot, I won't be able to handle them. So he said, Old beggar, Brother Yao and I have a score to settle with the Chenjin sect. You, 9-fingered divine beggar, your word is iron. Since we're giving you face today, you'd better not take sides tomorrow. Hong Qigong chuckled inwardly. Right now, you could topple me with one finger, and you're still afraid I'll join in? He shouted. Even one fart from this old beggar smells better than your blabbering. I won't help. You think you're guaranteed to win? With that, he flopped onto the ground, resting his wine gourd under his head, and said, You two brats, come pound my legs. By this time, the lamb leg he had been gnawing on was down to just the bone, yet he was still licking and nibbling at it like it was the tastiest thing in the world. He gazed at the layered clouds on the horizon and said, That cloud formation's strange. Looks like a storm's coming. Then he looked at the mist blanketing the lake and took a few deep sniffs before shaking his head. Ugh, this air is stifling. He turned to Huang Yaoshi and said, Brother Yao, may I borrow your daughter to massage my legs? Huang Yaoshi smiled faintly. Hong Rong walked over, sat beside Hong Qigong, and began gently pounding his legs. He sighed. Ah, these old bones have never enjoyed this kind of pampering before. He glared at Guojing. Stupid boy! That old rogue didn't break your paws, did he? Guojing replied, No, and sat on the other side to help pound his legs. Kujanu leaned against a willow by the lakeside, his lifeless eyes locked onto Huang Yaoshi. Though blind, he followed every movement by sound. When Huang Yaoshi walked east, he turned east. When he walked west, he followed west. Huang Yaoshi ignored him, lips curled in a faint sneer. The 6 Chenjin disciples and Yin Jiping sat cross-legged on the ground, forming the Big Dipper formation, meditating silently. Ouyang Feng, meanwhile, was pondering how Hong Qigong could have recovered so quickly after taking such a devastating blow from him. The air was hot and oppressive. Bugs buzzed around, and mist hovered over the lake. Hong Qigong said, My thighs are aching. There's no way a storm's not coming. If there's a clear moon tomorrow night, I'll chop off my own legs and give them to you. He glanced sideways at Jing and Rong, noticing they were avoiding eye contact, not even once exchanging a look. Straightforward as ever, he couldn't stand such awkward tension, but every time he asked what was wrong, they just mumbled and refused to explain. He raised his voice and called out to Huang Yaoshi, Brother Yao, does this South Lake have another name? Huang Yaoshi replied, It's also called Mandarin Duck Lake. Hong Qigong said, Perfect. So why are this loving pair of Mandarin ducks, your daughter and your son-in-law, fighting like this on a lake meant for romance? As her father, aren't you going to step in and say something? Guojing leapt up and pointed at Huang Yaoshi. He killed 5 of my masters. How could I still call him my father-in-law? Huang Yaoshi sneered coldly. So what? The 7 freaks of Jiangnan aren't all dead yet. There's still that stinking blind man left. I'll make sure he doesn't live past tomorrow. Before he finished speaking, Kujanu had already leapt toward him. Guojing, however, shot forward even faster, arriving ahead of him despite acting later. Huang Yaoshi returned a strike. Their palms collided with a bang, and Guojing was shaken back 2 steps. Hong Qigong shouted, I said no fighting! When this old beggar speaks, do you all take it for farting? Guojing dared not strike again, but glared hatefully at Huang Yaoshi. Hong Qigong said, Old heretic Huang, the Jiangnan 6 were chivalrous heroes. Why would you kill innocents? Just looking at you right now makes this old beggar sick. Huang Yaoshi replied, I kill whoever I want. What's it to you? Hong Rong called out, Father, you didn't kill his 5 masters. I know it. Say you didn't. Under the moonlight, Huang Yaoshi saw his daughter's face gaunt and haggard, his heart filled with pity. But when his eyes shifted to Guojing, whose face was still full of murderous intent, his heart hardened once more. I did kill them, he said. What is wrong with this guy? Hong Rong choked back a sob. Why do you insist on admitting to something you didn't do? Huang Yaoshi shouted. The world says your father is evil and strange. Don't you know that? What villain ever does good deeds? Every wicked thing in this world, your father did it. Those Jiangnan freaks thought themselves paragons of justice. Just looking at those self-proclaimed heroes makes my blood boil. Ouyang Feng burst into loud laughter and said, Brother Yao, those words were truly satisfying, utterly admirable. He raised a wine cup and drained it in one gulp. Brother Yao, I've brought you a gift. With a casual flick of his right hand, he tossed over a bundle. He stood several zhang away from Huang Yaoshi, yet the bundle flew straight and true, tearing through the air. The onlookers were all taken aback. Huang Yaoshi caught it, and at the first touch sensed it was a human head. He unwrapped it, and sure enough, it was a freshly severed head, wearing a scholar's cap with a short beard. The face was unfamiliar. Ouyang Feng laughed. I was traveling westward this morning and stopped to rest at an academy. I overheard this pedantic scholar lecturing his students about royalty and filial piety. It annoyed me to no end, so I killed him. You and I, East Heretic and West Venom, can't we say our tastes match? He burst into loud, wild laughter. Huang Yaoshi's face darkened. The people I respect most are the loyal and the filial. He bent down, scooped out a hole, buried the head, and made 3 solemn bows. Ouyang Feng, rebuffed, laughed it off. Old heretic Huang, just a name with no substance. You're still bound by rules and rights, after all. Huang Yaoshi said sternly, Loyalty and filial piety are great virtues. They're not mere rituals. As he finished speaking, a sudden clap of thunder rumbled through the sky. Everyone looked up to see dark clouds sweeping across half the heavens. A storm was clearly approaching. Just then, the sounds of drums and music rang out. 7 or 8 large boats were gliding across the lake, adorned with red lanterns and plaques on the bows that read "Silence" and "Make way," bearing the air of an official entourage. Is Yang Kang there? Oh, everyone's gathered again, right? All the characters in the books, or in the book, are gathered. Poor scholar. Yeah, what did he do? He's an innocent guy. This is when Huang Yaoshi realized he isn't as edgy as he wants to be. Alright, cool. How did you guys like that chapter? It was a lot of fighting, wasn't it? Yeah, and I guess Huang Yaoshi is pretty powerful. Huang Yaoshi could just clear this entire misunderstanding up with a single sentence, but he just refuses to do it. Yeah, that is maddening. Maybe he should die. I like how casual severed heads are in this country, in this story. Alright, guys. So I guess they've stopped for the day. Maybe they'll fight tomorrow. And I wonder what's gonna happen when Yang Kang comes. I'm assuming he's on this entourage. Alright, guys. That was fun. Okay, so we're back to normal schedule nowadays. Yeah, next stream should be next Monday. Same time. Glad you're back. Thanks, Losh. All right. I think that's it. Okay, I'll see you next time. I love you. And thanks for joining. All right. Bye.